Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are today. In this video, we're going to talk about classes, static variables, instance methods, and static methods, and how they all work together. So what I've done so far is I've created something of a bit of a silly class just for demonstration purposes called Apple. And I have two variables here. The first one on line 2 is an instance variable. And the second one on line 3 is a class variable because it's keyword static. So integer y belongs to the Apple class, whereas x belongs to any instance of the Apple class. And then I have two methods. I've got an instance method called doStuff, and I've got another method, but this is a class method called doStuff2. So this belongs to the Apple class. And notice there's an error inside of this class. It has a problem with x equals 23. Well, why is that? Well, because this method is static, everything on the inside of the braces here is said to be in a static context. And static methods can only use either local variables that are defined inside of the method itself, so that wouldn't be a problem. But if they access any variables outside of itself, then those variables have to be static. It can't reference or access any of the instance variables. And so that's why x is off limits. So I delete that, and now there's not a problem. Let's see what my error message would have generated had I kept that. Let's see if I can run that. Let's see. Cannot make a static reference to the non-static field x. Yeah. So again, because x is an instance variable, it's not static, which means you can't access it or use it inside of a static method, because static methods provide what we call a static context. Now let's go to the client side, which is my demo.java. And on line 6, I create an instance of Apple, which means I can use the doStuff method or the doStuff message through the instance of the Apple class. I can use doStuff2, but through the class itself. So if I go back to Apple and type dot, notice that doStuff appears and x appears, but nothing that was static appears because those static items belong to the Apple class. So I can say doStuff. If I say Apple, capital A, dot, notice I have access both to my y variable and to doStuff2. And that's because these are static, therefore they belong to the Apple class, which means they're only accessible through the Apple class. And so that is a basic beginning point of how static variables and methods interact with instance variables and methods. God bless you, wherever you are today.